Okay, truck inventory. What we're going to do is create a folder underneath data called trucks. Like so. And then underneath this folder, we're going to create truck folders. Now, I recommend just a simple numbering scheme that can be 01, 02, 03, or a T1, T.
Will basically be the 0516. That's basically the last two digits of the cell phone.
Okay. Now, what happens when the tech leaves?
In theory, his truck will get transferred, or the inventory will get pulled out depending on what's going on.
All right. So.
And then eventually that number will get reduced.
So what do you want this to be?
T05.
Okay. And another one?
T16.
All right, 1 sec. And you can come back and create the rest.
Right.
Okay. Now, so to set up a truck, you create the folder that we're doing here, and then you copy the files that are in. You don't even have a blank folder. That's interesting. Is this is the data folder, correct?
Yeah, the project doesn't.
You don't have a blank folder. That's interesting. Okay. Let me send you one. Stand by. You take the contents, Control A, Control C, sorry. Cancel. Control A, Control C. And you copy them into Perspective Trucks. Control V. And Control V. Okay. Now, back at the data location here, there's a file. This is the company file, which shouldn't really be here. It's a WIN file, shouldn't be here. We're going to copy from the structure folder. And you only have to do this once. And this should be called CompLoK. And we're going to index it real quick. Open table. And there's two indexes, which we have to do just manually. So restructure, comp ID is defined. And then there's some order by. Order by. Okay. Now, in the comp location table, the comp ID is going to be a two-letter abbreviation, a two-letter thing. It could be 01, 01 like so, or it can be T1, and then you get into the.
You just do 05 to keep the numbers.
Great, so 05 and then 16.
Yep.
Okay. And then who's the name? What's the text name?
Put CAA,
Like that?
Charles Allen Bohannon.
And the next one?
DAH. Or actually, I did this backwards, but that's okay.
Okay. Now, this is actually set up for multiple offices, and they could have different addresses, but in fact, for us, it's just going to be the trucks. So this location here is the field that counts. And so if we take I'm gonna take the full path, which is going to be
What program? Give the data.
this guy. Stick that like that, okay? And then we'll do the same thing here, and we'll make it, sorry, 16.
Yeah, we're going to change something too. Change the division.
Okay,
I don't want their initials. We're just going to put text 05 text 16. That way, if they leave, we don't have to change it.
right.
So we'll still get across.
Totally fine. Okay. Now, the first time, I mean, you're welcome to go in here and do this for the third and fourth truck. It's easier for the first time around to do it this way. Once we have it set up, it can be managed inside the system. It's just getting the first one set up is easier to do inside manually. But once they're in place, we're going to turn on the truck module. The truck module is actually a multiple office module that's been tweaked to be trucks. And so we're going to turn this on. And now we have a truck, an office module like so. Okay? Why is that table not right? Okay. That's weird. All right. Okay. So back to setup, files and systems, system setup. This guy. Okay. All right. And now we have the two trucks defined like so. Okay. So now if you have a new truck, you simply press the add button here, and then you'll have a new field. You can set the ID and then the division name and then the location like so. You'll need to copy the files into that new folder. There's no mechanism to copy from blank to the folder, so you do that outside, but you manage it through this guy here. Okay. Now, a couple things that we can do once we turn this on. The truck system is really an office system, and there's a couple functionalities that we can turn off because we don't want to do this. Do not add, when you add an item to the home office, it will not add it to the second offices automatically. Because you want to just put what's going to be in the truck and not necessarily just regular parts, you know what I mean?
Right.
We can have it, there's a prompt that can come up, and this is just going to be no prompt, so it will automatically just do the update, but it's not going to add anything to the other trucks. It will update the cost though. So if you change the cost in the main office, it'll update the cost in the secondary office. Okay, so I'll show you what this looks like, but these are the parameters I recommend. Okay, now what changes to the system is, we have to do another thing. You'll notice there's a new button here called Comp Location. And you have your home office, and then you've got your trucks. Okay? So if you wanted to run an inventory report for the truck, you could switch to that office. And then you could run your inventory value report for that particular office because we're now in that office. You got me?
That was one of my questions I had for you, so that answers that question.
Okay. Now, so we can switch now. So we'll switch back to the home office like so, and now we're in the home office. Okay. Now, another thing that changes is when you go to Files and System Setup, it's going to prompt you for which office you're in, and you'll always just select the home office. If this were an actual location, then you wanted to work on separate project numbers or things like that related to the office, and you would select the office. But again, this is a truck, so it doesn't really matter. Okay? Now, what turns the truck system on from a tech position is the intention of the truck module is to have the technicians have inventory and then reduce that inventory from the truck on a service call. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Or an installer taking out pipe fittings or whatever.
Well, additional things that they take out would be handled a certain way, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But the primary reason is service. So to make this work for service, we come down here to service, and we say truck allocation right there. Now, is there another type of service where you'd be taking from the trucks regularly?
Like I said, install, but that's the only service.
Yeah, okay, so the service is the main one. Okay.
Yep.
Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to tie the technicians to the trucks. So,
Yeah, I remember where that's at also.
so this is 05 would be Tech 1 and 16 are the IDs. So we go to security settings, and who's 05?
DAH. Right there.
DAH, okay. And so we put here, in this field right here, 05, like so. Okay?
Right.
And who's the second one?
Chuck Colhanick, almost where you're at, slightly up. CAK, right there.
Okay. And he's 16.
Yep.
Like so. Okay? All right, so you can come back and rebuild the rest of these guys, but this gives you the example of how it's set up. Okay? Now, done and done. We didn't really save anything here other than the databases, which are saved automatically when you move off record. So, now, if we call up our inventory system and give me an item that you would have stock on normally and that would normally be in a truck.
ERI-M. No, E. Tom Ralph -S. As in Sam.
Okay, so we have 5 of these in the home office. Okay?
Yep.
And if we hit the warehouse transfer button right here, the items are not found in our truck. Okay? And so we have our location, home office is whatever location we're in is called me. And if I wanted to transfer one of these to this truck, okay, I would pick the location, be it 1, okay, would be 05, and then plus or minus. So we're minusing from us, and which we assume we were plussing to the others. So we'll do a -1 here, and we say move, and now you'll notice when that happens, we have 4 here now, and we have 1 in that office, in that truck, like so.
Right. And that's similar to the inventory, it's just out on the first tab, basically.
Absolutely correct. Similar, you're plussing and minusing to the trucks, taking away from us and adding to the other trucks. Okay? So if I hit a plus here, if I do a 1 again and then a plus over here, +1, and hit move, now we have our 5 back in our office and we have 0 in the truck. Okay? Now, the other button that became available, is these guys right here. This one can delete items from the truck if there's none in stock. So it's a way to quickly delete an item. Delete this item from the trucks. So if I hit delete like so, and I say update, and then we go to warehouse transfer again, we should have none in the offices. Now it won't delete if there's inventory, but it's a way to clear out items that you don't want in those locations easily. Similarly is the seed office button. This will do the reverse, which it will now seed all the offices with that item. No stock in those offices, but now you have a location to run a report from, and you could run a count sheet, if you will, for that office, be it the truck, and they could put next to the item how many they have in the truck right now. Does that make sense, what I just said?
Yep.
Okay.
If it says not found, you're not going to get a report.
Exactly. If it says not found, you're not going to get a report. So it won't be on the report till you seed it, whether it has it or not. So the seed button makes it easy to seed the trucks with items they normally would have on their trucks. Okay.
Quick question
Go.
before you go on. Is it possible to create a assembly, say we're buying a new truck, new technician, we want to stock him with a list of parts?
Well, you could take a current truck and copy it from truck to truck. And then you could zero out the new truck.
Okay.
That's the simplest way to do that.
Okay. So that's not technically an option.
Not today, no.
Right. Because we've got security tech, then we got nurse call, fire alarms, so the trucks are sort of different. But
Oh.
Trying to create it, we copy whichever truck.
Yeah, you can copy whatever truck you want, and then what would happen would be you could use, so I could switch to the truck, for example, 01, and then go to inventory utilities, and right here, change item field, and you pick the field in stock, and set this to be 0, and that would clear your in-stock quantity for this truck that you're in.
Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
And you're really not going to have any allocation, so this is the only field you would need to clear from that location. There is not a identifier on this particular screen indicating that you're in an office, so you just kind of have to know what you're doing when you do this kind of thing. Of course, you don't want to zero out your home office, so you need to be careful with this guy. That would be a problem. At that point, you go get a tape backup real quick. But so you just got to be. So yes, so that would be the mechanism. So just you have to manage when you're doing this thing. Do manage. Know where you're at when you do that kind of a clearing thing. Okay? Now, there are a couple reports that are helpful that have been added, and we can go to the inventory screen. And you'll notice under the value report, there is a checkbox, include multiple offices. So when you check this guy here and run the report, you get a combined inventory including the trucks. And then this guy breaks out the trucks for you.
Okay.
So this is inclusive, but also broken out.
Right.
Got it? And go ahead. Was there a question?
No, I think Kim will appreciate those.
Yeah. Now the count report, remember what I talked about here is you want to use this and include 0 quantities, but be in the truck. So if we were to switch offices like this, switch to a truck, like so, after you've seeded it with the default items that you want them to have, then you can run a count report including zero quantities, and now you have a count report to work with that your text can then tell you what they have. I'm a little puzzled this is taking so long. Okay, good. Interesting. I didn't think we...
I didn't think we did either.
Maybe there was something in the stock report, blank folder. These look like my items. Let's go take a look at that. Okay, hold on a minute. Pause. My blank folder. The other report that is available here, so if we switch back to the home office, is reports, inventory, truck items to project. What this shows you is all the movement, all the allocations from the trucks, so that you can then seed the trucks with inventory that's been removed for service calls. Got it? Okay. All right. So now what's going to happen to current service calls? If you Kim will notice right away, Kim or whoever does the billing will notice right away when you try to bill an item that has not been allocated yet, bill a service call, I should say. When you go to bill a service call and the items have not been allocated to the service call, a prompt for which truck it came from will come up. Gotcha? And it will try to remove it from that truck, and what it's actually doing is it's doing a transfer from the truck to the home office and then allocate it from the home office. So that immediately starts happening, and when that happens, you see this little prompt come up and you say it was this guy's truck or it was this guy's truck. Got me? Okay.
They run an application report. Is it going to show that? All the inventory.
What truck it came from?
Basically, when we go over to here and we go 25244B, assuming we got any, of course, we don't have any in stock. But when I come to allocation down here, if I run details or anything, is it going to show us the map?
The allocation, remember, it's actually going to be allocated from the home office because it's transferring from the truck to the home office and allocating out of the office.
Okay.
The reports I showed you is going to be your tools. There's a couple other reports that are accessible too. Now all of a sudden you have a move report that's also updated, and a value report are updated as well. So once you have the warehouse system in place, these start showing you transfers as well. But they don't indicate a truck, whereas this guy down here, they don't even indicate a project. They tell you what truck. This guy tells you what project it went to. Okay?
Yep.
And that's it. That's truck module.
I get a couple of questions.
Go.
Permission.
Okay. Permissions. Good question. That's a very good question. Okay. So we're talking about value of moving inventory. So right. So let me bring up. Let me tell you what I'll do. I don't want to do that one, but okay. I was going to say, if the person has edit of this screen, then they have transfer functionality. But I want to let me look up the security before I make that blanket statement. So stand by. So for security purposes, you want. I'm recording this session. Remove 125 and remove 176 from the users that don't have transfer functionality.
And they need to have 224 to see the warehouse, right?
Yeah, you need to, in order to, they need to have 224 to see the warehouse. That's correct. Yes, 224.
The other thing I'm going to throw out, this, once we activate this, it eliminates one feature we used to do.
Okay.
Technicians going on vacation for 1/2 weeks, and we got other technicians that truck needs service. It's going to be hard to rotate the vehicle into another technician until unless we temporarily give them access to the inventory in that truck.
That would be correct. You'd have to switch the truck ID to use that truck. That's right. Yep.
Otherwise, it's
Yep. Any other questions?
Anybody else on this? Transfer really easy.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really makes sense, and you could set up 20 trucks. Once you set up 20 trucks, you're good to go, whatever that is.
My part is now we got to go 6/7 truck, find out what limits they can transfer.
Right. Yeah, I know the one thing that people don't like, which is really not a choice in, is this 1, 2, and 3 part of it. There's no mechanism to make it 0, 5, and 1, 6. You just have to pick whichever the item. This equals, 05 and so forth. There's no mechanism to use 05, for example. You just have to use the related one, the location ID. So that's always been the complaint, but there's nothing I can do to change that. So.
Oh, I have one other question for you.
Go.
There's a SOC 2 database.
In your data folder?
Yeah.
That is a MD file. That is something that is a access file. Somebody was looking up stock. I venture to say that if you were to, it's just an access file that somebody created somewhere along the way. But they're not in my system in any way.
Okay, because they used to give us all of these stocks that had activity for inventory.
Right. I mean, you're able to run if they have it linked. I'm sure they have it linked to stock.
Right. I would have to link that to the main. Basically, we had 10 trucks. I have to link it to 7 different databases.
Yes, correct. That's correct. Yes.
I would run them each individually.
Yeah, you'd have to. That's something external to the system. It's not going to have any bearing on the trucks.
Okay.
All right. All right. I will compile this video and send you a link so you can download it or put it on. I'll probably put it on your server and tell you it's there now. And I'm going to keep it for me as well. Okay.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Talk to you later.